welcome to Living with Lions, the Mountain Lion Foundation's monthly webinar series. My name is Gowan Batiste, and I am the Coexistence Programs Manager for the Mountain Lion Foundation. We are a national not-for-profit organization. Our work is focused on ensuring that the ecologically critical mountain lion survives and thrives in the wild. We do this important work in three ways. First, we offer proactive, community-based coexistence training and support. We help people keep themselves, their families, their livestock safe, while also keeping wildlife safe. Secondly, we work with institutional partners and people like you all over the United States at the state and federal levels to ensure that protections are in place for mountain lions and their habitats. We stand up for lions wherever they are being overhunted or persecuted, and that's especially important because lions make ecosystems more resilient in the face of climate change. Third, we do a lot of educational programming, and we do myth busting to help citizens and decision makers understand just how important mountain lions are and how straightforward and cost-effective it can be to coexist with them. Our Living with Lions webinar series, each month, we cover a new angle on how people and mountain lions can peacefully coexist. So thank you for being here. Please feel free to engage in the chat and in the Q&A. Our favorite way to do this is to have you put questions into the Q&A as they come up during the presentation. It's not disruptive. The presenter's not seeing them as they come in, but that way everything stays fresh. And when we get to the end, we have a nice stacked deck for the Q&A. So please feel free to do that. I'm really excited about, we just are going to have such a beautiful presentation today. We have a lot of cool photography and video to look at. We're with Robert Martinez, who has been photographing wildlife in the Angeles National Forest in Southern California since 2012. In that time, he's also made a movie narrated by Beau Bridges about the Wallis Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, enjoyed an artist residency with the U.S. Forest Service, and been selected as a contributor for the 2025 Mountain Lion Foundation annual calendar. His work is incredible and important for fostering empathy for wildlife, which is foundational for learning to peacefully coexist with mountain lions and other apex carnivores that live near us. So, Robert, thank you so much for joining us and being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you joining us. It's been very cool to get to look at your work. I've got introduced to your work before actually getting to meet you, so it's nice to put these pieces together.
Right on.
So with that, let's launch into it. And my first question for you um, is why? Why did you start photographing wildlife?
I've always had a deep passion for wildlife, and seeing wild animals in the wild has always been super intriguing to me. In 2011, I started taking deep walks into the forests on a few fire escape roads that people don't normally, travel on. And this picture you're seeing right here was me stumbling upon some mountain lion tracks. I wasn't even looking for them, nor did I know what to look for. I just wanted to walk out there in the middle of nowhere, maybe see a wild animal. So when I came across these tracks, I just couldn't stop staring at them. Took a picture. I knew what they were, but yeah, I wasn't really like thinking I would find that. So those prints right there stayed imprinted in my mind for the next 5 to 6 months. And in that time, I was watching YouTube videos of mountain lions, getting, even more obsessed than I already was. And then I discovered trail cameras, and I bought my first one and went back to that same fire escape road right there, and set my camera up. And I think after only like maybe 3 to 4 weeks, I got that clip right there. And that right there, it was almost like seeing a lion in person for the first time, because I didn't know if I'd actually ever see a lion on my cameras. I didn't know if I had what it takes to capture that kind of behavior. So seeing that was like really a heart pounding moment. And that clip just made me even more obsessed. Like, I got to see more than just that 5 seconds. And then only days later, this happens. I turn the camera the other direction on the same stretch of trail, and this family of lions walks by in the rain. So once I
Wow.
saw that clip right there, I was like, oh my God, I got something going on here. I think I could maybe do this. Maybe I could see more. You never know. I did not expect to see three lions together in the pouring rain traveling. So that's how it started. Just wanting to see a mountain lion. I wanted to get a glimpse. I knew they were there, yet they call them ghost cats for a reason because they're rarely seen. So with the help of trail cameras, I thought maybe I'll get to see one day. And sure enough, I did. And then in the meantime, animals like this big giant black bear passed by. I knew the bears were out there too, but that was my first bear clip right there. And
Wow.
since then, I mean, I realized the bears are even more, you know, more widespread than the mountain lions, actually.
Yeah, there's,
So yeah, that's how it started, just wanting to see a mountain lion. And then in that time, I've seen almost every creature that lives in the forest.
that's wonderful. So what's your camera trap setup like? So, and how has it evolved over the years and why? And I ask this as somebody who uses camera traps in a very non-artistic way in my
Mhm.
work. And there's such a huge difference between the kinds of images that I get and the kind of images that we're seeing here. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that evolution.
Okay, well, it started off with just video. So I bought, a commercially made Bushnell trail camera to capture. You can set it to photos too if you want, but I set mine to video. So it started by just getting video clips, and in that time, a few friends of mine, Dennis and Joanna, who've been doing this way before I have, encouraged me to get a DSLR. And Dennis built it. Joanna helped me set it up. So I went from doing videos to getting still photos also. And yeah, so this is my first time going off trail right here with a video camera. I was doing fire escape roads for the first 6 months, had a couple of cameras stolen, and I'm like, okay, I need to go off trail, get my hands dirty. So that was my first clip right there of getting lions not on a fire escape road. So yeah, it evolved into just video to get some still photos also with the encouragement and help of friends.
That's fantastic.
So when I went off trail, I didn't know it would be such a blessing. It's like, oh my God, you see real wildlife behavior right here, as opposed to walking, on a private road. So
Totally. And people are often really surprised how much wildlife does use human-made trails. But it totally makes sense that their behavior would be really different off trail versus on these public roads.
yeah. And then as I kind of branched out, started getting deeper in the canyons and creeks, I started being able to capture more biodiversity, like in this clip right here. And then I always try to set my cameras at a very artistic angle. I like, to have great composition, try to get the most picturesque setting possible. I mean, first and foremost, I want to get the animals to come by. I want to find the spot where I know they travel, where they might mark, rub on a tree, where they left a scrape. And then after that, I want to get the best setting possible. I like my camera low to the ground. I want it to be very artistic as opposed to being more like, surveillance camera, 10 feet above, looking down. To me, that's a little bit more unnatural, watching the animals look up. So I think it's kind of important to have the camera really low, almost like you're on all fours, having an eye-to-eye encounter with these bear cubs or this deer or mountain lion. So I really try to put a lot of thought into that, my composition and camera placement. And I think it really pays off.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, these are amazing images.
Thank you.
And I know we're here to talk about mountain lions, but this bear doing that giant back scratch is so
Wilford the bear, he's world famous.
yeah. And
So
then you see that giant scar and kind of real.
yeah, I get asked weekly about that scar. He probably fought with another bear.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. These animals they live such dynamic and difficult lives.
Yeah, and I've been trying to show people like what really happens when camera areas are undisturbed by humans. Like all these areas right here that you're seeing right here in this clip is a spot that's on private property. So I get to like drive into some service roads, hike deep into the canyon and set my cameras up where people don't disturb the scene. So I never knew there would be so much behavior at all hours of the day until I started putting up cameras in those kind of areas. So what I've
Yeah.
learned is the humans really affect the animals' behavior. When there's no humans around, they just do what they got to do any time of the day.
Absolutely. That's often such a point of like fear and anxiety that comes up in my work is when people see wildlife during the day, they think that that's like unusual behavior or that it means the animal's ill or something is wrong. And
Uh,
that's not the case at all.
oh, not at all. I used to think the same when I first started doing this, 12 years ago, I thought most of my stuff would be, nocturnal footage, like you're seeing right there. But no, it's any hour of the day, it's a day by day basis from what I've learned. So as long as the humans aren't there to scare them and, frighten them, they're gonna do what they gotta do that particular day. So
Wow. Yeah, that's it's fantastic. Oh, I love the fox image. And I really appreciate this being in here because I cannot tell you how many videos of foxes, exactly this kind of tree fox, I get sent by people asking me if they're mountain lions. So
oh
getting to
my
look at
God.
them side
Maybe
by
because
side, you know.
in that picture right there, there's another fox in the background. I don't know if you can see it. It's
Mhm.
way back there. So I think that was a mating pair, possibly hanging
Mhm.
out. But
Fantastic. Yeah. So, ooh, yeah. So
This
this
is one example of going from video or using video and DSLR. So there's the DSLR image. It's pretty different from the video you see. It's a
Mm,
lot darker and more rich, more detailed. So yeah, that happened 40 minutes after I set that camera up. That was an amazing day that I'll never forget.
wow. Wow. 40 minutes after that camera got set
Yeah,
up.
I found it like around 11 a.m. Spent hours setting my camera up. Just, had to go retrieve my cameras that were nearby, set them up and placed it on the kill. And I left, went back the next day, and the lions came by only 40 something minutes after I
You
left.
know they were waiting for you to leave.
Oh my God, they were probably watching me, and I wish I would have known that, and I would have like stayed to get a glimpse in person, but I might have like ruined the whole scene if I did that. So better I
No.
left probably.
And here's another great side-by-side
Yeah.
comparison of bobcat with a mountain lion. I also get a lot of bobcat videos with people asking if they're mountain lions.
Oh
Uh,
my God. Yeah. People mistake bobcats, domestic cats for mountain lions all the time. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, these are two DSLR images right here. The one on the left is a lion feeding on a raccoon. And she
Mhm.
sat up for like 5 seconds. And these images were captured in that 5 second little clip right there. And then the next one on the right is the bobcat. I'm guessing this bobcat probably saw a camera for the first time. That's why it has that inquisitive look on his face and this paw in the air
Oh,
because
what is that?
there's flashes going off. So
Fantastic. Well, I would love to hear about your work as an artist in residence for the U.S. Forest Service. I'm willing I'm going to bet that most people don't know that the Forest Service has artists in residence.
yeah, I'm actually not sure if they're still doing that program anymore. This is, almost 6 years ago now, going on 7. So I don't know if that's still a thing actually. But back in 2018, when I captured this iconic image of 4 mountain lions at the same spot you're seeing right now, a year and a couple of months later, I captured this photo of 4 lions at sunset, which is here's the video clip of the photos happening. And when this happened, the Forest Service reached out to me about 2 months later because the photo and the video went viral. It was even on like 5 different news channels in LA. So
Mm.
it was pretty widespread. And they reached out to me, which I did not expect. And they wanted to use my photo, 2 of them actually, for advertising campaign at LAX. So they chose the photo of the 4 lions at sunset. And then the very last photo was one of the kittens walking by. So they put them in some terminals at LAX. And in turn, they gave me a permit and a key to the forest to go explore in some private property and basically be a storyteller, tell stories of our local wildlife, share with the Angeles National Forest. And it's been a dream come true because I've always wanted to go to some of these private property parts of the forest that the public can't go. And since I got access to it, I've been able to show people like this is what really happens when nobody's around. This spot right here where this picture is, that's actually a public spot, but yet it's at the top of a hill on a ridgeline that nobody would really want to travel to unless you're crazy like me and want to find mountain lions. So that's how this whole spot came to be right here. And you can see in the background, you can see downtown LA right there in the center of the picture. So this photo was a dream. I spent about 5 months envisioning the mom might come back with the kittens, maybe. And sure enough, she did. And when she did, oh my God, I was just like, it's like I hit the jackpot or the camera trapping lottery. Yeah, so this is, yeah, there it is. There's the lion kitten. That was in one terminal. That was like I think an 8 foot, 6 by 8 foot picture. And then the other one was like 20 feet, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
very flattering. And it's such an honor to be a part of that. And then for them to trust me to go into the forest on private property and set up cameras, continue doing what I'm doing was just amazing. Beyond thankful.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I would love to hear about your favorite animals or animal behaviors that your camera has captured. And are there some animals or behaviors that you haven't captured yet that you're still looking forward to?
Yes. So my favorite animal is the mountain lion. I mean, I'm just number one. Um, some of the most surprising things that happened were like this right here, capturing Limpy the lion, the mother of lions. She's the mother right here from the picture of the 4 lions at sunset. This is her actually 2 years earlier with a different set of kittens or offspring. She had 2 females right here. So even capturing this right here was not something I expected to watch her being playful, charging at her kitten like this. And it's just not something I ever thought I would get to see. And then the bobcat fighting the rattlesnake. That's a very viral clip that I captured. Nothing I ever thought would happen in front of my camera. In regards to the things I haven't seen, like I've never captured two lions actually mating, which I thought would be interesting to see, the mating process. I feel like I've come close to two male lions crossing paths, and when they do, sometimes they tend to get in a fight, just like domestic cats. Closest I got was two male lions 20 minutes apart from each other, and that's where the a video coming up in this presentation is a lion screaming, and that lion was screaming at another male. So I don't want to see lions fight. I mean, that doesn't sound happy to see, but I feel like that could happen in front of my camera someday. Or a lion capturing a deer on camera. So those are things I think that could happen, but haven't happened yet. Possibilities are out there.
It's fantastic. Yeah, the sheer number of different behaviors that are possible, and then the insights into these animals' lives that are so elusive, like they're so rarely seen, even though they're kind of going on all around us.
Yeah.
It's
It's
such a
funny.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's such a cool opportunity, and it's really useful to folks who are working in policy and who are working in science as well.
I love hearing that because I do this as nothing but like a passion of mine, a hobby, but yet the things I've captured and been able to learn about have really helped others that are studying mountain lions also. So it's such an honor to be able to contribute to the, understanding of mountain lions. It's to me, it's so important because there's so many misconceptions and myths about them. And hopefully with what I'm doing and learning, I can help dispel some of those rumors and myths, hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, especially the idea that there are these completely solitary cats that don't have social behavior, and then you actually see, this footage of them being intensely social.
Yeah.
Um, it's so useful.
Ah, that's great to hear.
And it's also like it's nice to get to see them in it's nice to get to see them in the environment that they're supposed to be in.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I agree. Like this clip right here, it's such an amazing moment to see them so relaxed in their natural habitat with nothing but a plastic box watching them. There's no humans there. This spot right here has no human ever passing by. It's a really hard to get to spot. So I feel safe and secure having a camera there. I've had one there for 11 years now.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a lot.
long time. That's a record for not getting a camera stolen or having people come by and wave at it. But that's like kind of my ultimate goal. Go where people don't go. If you want to see something wild, go where the
Yeah.
people don't go. So this is the lion screaming clip right here. The audio's not working, so I'm gonna play my clip on my end. You guys can hear the sound. Okay, so usually I get females doing the caterwauling looking for a mate. This instance right here, it's a male lion. Thankfully, I can confirm that because you get a glimpse into the tail, you know it's a male. So this is a male with a very full belly. 4 hours earlier, there was a different male who I can tell them apart by their ears, their tail, all that. So he was there 4 hours earlier. And then at 4 p.m., this male shows up and starts screaming in the direction the other male went. So I almost think it was like he was sending a message, maybe, because they're very territorial, like all cats are. And after this male right here left, only 20 minutes later, the other male showed up and was smelling the ground that he was stepping on. So that's probably the closest I've ever got to two lions almost interacting with each other or having some kind of, wild moment where one's like sending a message to the others.
Mm.
Yeah, so seeing stuff like this, I'm like, God, one day I might actually get lions fighting on camera. I mean, I don't want to see a fight, but yet that's part of nature and part of being a wild mountain lion. Ooh, this next clip right here. Was surprising. I thought this was like a skunk wanting to commit suicide. Like, why are you running into the path of a mountain lion? And then little did I know, the mountain lion must have either learned maybe from his or her mom or had an encounter and got sprayed by a skunk. I don't know, but either way, this lion was not having it. This lion knew better and went around, as you'll see right here. So that's a striped skunk right there approaching a mountain lion. And skunks and lions are regular to this camera spot, but I didn't know this would happen. I mean, the skunk went up to the mountain lion to like let it know, like, get out of here. I'm
Yeah, just
guessing the skunk probably had babies nearby. I mean, why else would it be so brave and bold, you know? And look at the lion right here. Boom, I'm out of here. That was such a cute, surprising, interesting moment. I never thought I would see. I'm like a skunk literally going up to a mountain lion to confront it. Look at her behavior too. This was a female, by the way.
Mhm.
She's like, what the hell? You're serious, I guess.
Yeah, she wants no part of that.
Oh, that was such a fun clip to watch, to capture, to share. It's like, wow, it's that confidence that skunk knows. Like, I'm gonna die for this. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
Skunks are just like pure chutzpah, Um,
Yeah.
especially that little handstand at the camera too.
Uh-huh. And where the skunk's standing right there, that indentation in the ground is the bed that Wilford the bear made only like I think 2 months earlier.
Wow.
That indentation is still there. You can still see it 2 years later. It's still there. That was his bed right there. The skunk standing in Wilford's bed right there. So that's an amazing spot. I mean, skunk chasing mountain lion, Wilford the bear taking a nap right there. It's like, geez, a spot like that is a spot you never want to leave. You want to always have a camera there to see what'll happen next. And it's
How
going
long
on,
have
I think, 3 years now. So the
3 years?
camera always going to be there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's quite a scene to capture, people are often surprised that mountain lions do eat a lot of small mammals,
Yeah.
especially mountain lions. But the skunk is like, not this small mammal.
Oh, I have another clip. It's not in this presentation, but it was a possum. The clip starts with a mountain lion confronting an opossum, and the possum was like hissing, and the mountain lion kind of stood back and just like retreated. So these little
Yeah.
animals, as long as they show their confidence and that they don't care, the mountain lions don't want to mess with it.
No, that is one of the reasons why we say cleaning up garbage, not having pet food out at night are really important things for preventing conflicts with mountain lions because mountain lions will go where there are raccoons, where there are possums, where there are
Yes.
feral cat colonies. And people often only think of them as eating deer and elk, and so they don't consider that. Um, but that's an important thing.
Yep. I agree.
Oh, so this is you setting up cameras.
Yeah, one of my selfie videos, trying to
Yeah.
capture the genuine reaction of me getting the footage.
Oh,
It's fun to do that kind of stuff, like because I want people to know like how exciting it really was. So when I get something like this, I'll pull out the phone. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna record this.
wow, that's
It's
great.
a genuine moment I wasn't thinking was gonna happen that day.
Yeah, it does look really joyful.
It's fun. It's like opening a Christmas gift. A lot of times you get nothing. It's like nothing but squirrels, and other times you get stuff like that. Like what the heck? Or that lion screaming, things you didn't expect.
So I would love to hear about your work as videographer, and the film Wildlife on the Edge.
Okay, yeah. So Peter von Puttkamer reached out to me. He's a wildlife cinematographer, has produced things for all kinds of like different channels like Animal Planet, Discovery Channel. So him and David Castleman started this nonprofit called EcoFlix, and Peter is like the main guy who makes all their films. He reached out to me and wanted to trail along with me and check my cameras and document what I'm doing for a documentary. So we went out there for a day, recorded me checking cameras and talking about the different things I've seen. And it got put together really well. It's to highlight like wildlife in the wild, undisturbed, showing people what happens when people don't interfere. And it shed light on P-22 and the wildlife bridge in Agora Hills. It got narrated by Beau Bridges. It was a really fun experience. Really, really fun to do something I'm so passionate about and have somebody want to highlight that and showcase it in this kind of way. It was a really fun thing to be a part of. And it's available on EcoFlix if anyone wants to see it. You can go to ecoflix.com. They're a nonprofit platform looking to save the planet and wildlife.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
it's fun
I'll
to be
look
a
up that video. And there you are out in the
Yeah,
brush.
that's me out in the wild. And like as I watch it, there's so many clips that weren't in there. I'm like, oh man, we could do a part two. Let's do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
Totally. I
this
mean,
is the bobcat rattlesnake clip. Probably the most shocking thing I ever got on camera, ever. Like, I mean, some spots I go to, I know the lions, the bobcats, the bears, I know they're going to come by eventually, but things like this, you just cannot predict. There's no way. It's usually a bobcat just passing by, marking its territory and spraying on a rock. But coaxing a rattlesnake out and doing a battle like that, that was by far the most shocking and jaw-dropping moment I ever got on camera.
yeah, that's incredible. I would never have expected a bobcat to do that.
I wouldn't either. I've seen videos online like a bobcat in Arizona doing that on a road somewhere, but just right in front of my camera, I'm like, how did I get so lucky to put it right there to have that moment happen? It's surreal.
Yeah, and so did the bobcat eat the rattlesnake, do you think?
No, I don't know. So in the all the clips that all the footage I got, you see the snake laying right in the picture, and while the bobcat rolls around in the dirt, kind of a celebratory roll, I guess. And then after that, the next clip starts. The bobcat's more in the background, walking away with the snake. So
Oh,
imagine the bobcat did eat it, but it went off camera and did it somewhere. And when I checked the footage that day, I looked around the general area for some kind of snake remains, whatever that might be. I don't know. I have no experience in that. And I didn't find a single sign of a rattlesnake. So
wow.
it did take it out of the picture somewhere. Probably to go eat in peace, maybe more, more little cozy environment.
Yeah,
So
off the beaten trail.
yeah, exactly. That was
That's-
more like on the main path right there where the animals travel, the water flows through. So it makes sense if we carry it out of the picture.
Yeah. So do you consider yourself a wildlife advocate? What role does photography have in protecting California's wildlife?
I do consider myself an advocate, and I hope my photography and videos helps bring awareness, makes people feel a connection. They feel the need to protect our wildlife. Like what they see on my cameras, hopefully they feel the need to protect their habitat and do all they can to protect them and understand coexisting. I tell people on a daily basis that they're more afraid of us. Don't fear them, understand them. Because I get asked all the time on all my posts, like, all right, what if you see a mountain lion? What do you do? If you see a bear, have you seen a bear? And I've had countless bear encounters, and they just want nothing more than to get away. I've seen a mountain lion 3 times, twice from my car on a private road, and both times they ran away. The first time ever was on a closed off road. I walked at nighttime and I had my flashlight and I was talking to myself, recording this line for 45 seconds. When my voice got loud, the lion took off. So
Mm,
that one little experience was like, I'm 100 feet away from this mountain lion and there's nothing there to protect me, just me and the lion. And yet my voice made the lion just book it in the dark. So I try to
yeah.
give people these stories of mine, these examples, how it's just all about coexisting. Don't fear them, understand them. The key to their survival is avoiding human contact. I mean, back when I found those deer kills and set my cameras up, people think like the lion come back and want to protect it. I'm like, no, they're not going to risk their life over that deer kill. They're too smart for that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's no mother lion teaching their kittens how to hunt humans or, in desperate times, look for this person. No, they go out of their way to avoid people. And in my 12 years of experience, I've realized they really do not want to be seen. I've been on my cameras and checked footage, and the lion was there minutes before I got there. Yet I don't see the lion, I don't hear the lion. So they really are elusive.
Yeah, and it's amazing how having a face-to-face encounter with these animals can actually make you a lot less afraid of them.
Yeah.
People often think it would be the other way around, and it's not really. I love seeing this footage of you with your kiddo and
Yes.
mountain
What's
lion.
crazy? Yeah, so this is a private area of the forest. So even though it's kind of easy to get to for her, back then she was only like 5 or 6, it's still a closed off area of the forest where the animals can be really wild. There's no humans disturbing the scene right here. And that's a lion right there doing the Fleming response.
Yeah,
That's
that's fantastic. Yeah, I also have a young child that I take with me into the field, and I get the question all the time, aren't you afraid of, bringing your kid where you know that there are mountain lions? And personally, I'm a lot more afraid of being in town where there are cars, you know.
yeah. I
Um,
tell people the same thing. I feel safest in the mountains around bears and lions. It's when I leave the mountains to go back to the city, that's when I'm kind of unsure. And like, these two-legged animals called humans are a little bit more kind of uncertain right now. And I mean,
yeah.
that's just like a proven fact. everyone to me is safer in the forest, like where I'm going, than being out in the city at anything, you know? These animals do not want to harm people. They just
No.
want to be wild, have their space to roam. So yeah, I think we're
Oh,
safer in the forest than in the city for sure.
folks, folks in the chat are saying your daughter's adorable and
Ah, thanks.
her.
My wild child, my
Yeah.
baby without the mustache.
Yeah, you're taking
I love
hint.
getting her out there to like teach her things, you know, not to be afraid. Just like at home, when she sees a spider at home, like don't be afraid of that spider. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
like let her know, like don't react like that.
Right. And
Or
that's such an
bus.
important skill set to
Oh
have,
yeah,
to
yeah,
have that
yeah.
agency in the woods and to feel confident and secure in that kind of environment is really important. So many kids don't get that anymore.
No, it's so important to me because the thought of anyone going to the forest wondering if the animal's gonna eat them or kill them is heartbreaking. I'm like, no, do not think that way. It's not like that. Don't feel the need to, carry a gun or have a weapon with you, or have, I mean, you can take bear spray if you want, but don't feel the need to be armed and don't have that mentality, like to me, like don't go, you never know. I don't like that. That really bothers me. You say, you never know. I'm like, well, man, I've been out there for 12 years, deep in the most undisturbed areas, remote. And I'm like, I kind of know something, a little bit. These lions aren't desperate. They're not going to look for you. They're not that hungry or they need to, make you a meal. When they have plenty of prey in a healthy habitat, humans are the least of their interest. They don't care.
I think that that's such an important point that the more healthy and undisturbed and stable they are, the less threatening they are.
Yeah, I feel like when they smell my scent on my camera, they probably roll their eyes and like, oh, that guy again. They don't
Okay.
care about me that much. They're more interested in the lions leaving their scent or the bobcat smelling the other bobcat, or the bears smelling the tree the bears rubbed on. My scent and my presence means nothing to them other than get out. If I'm there, like get out of the way, leave. But they just
Mhm.
want to be left alone. That's all they want and all they need, to be left
Oh,
alone.
I love that behavior. That's great behavior.
Yes, that's the best. When you find so this spot right there, I saw signs of old scrapes from before, so that's why the camera got put there. And
Mm.
almost guarantee the lions will come back and scrape again, whether it's weeks, months, a year, 2 years, you never know, but they will come back. They will.
And so having that kind of tracking experience and that kind of behavior prediction is pretty critical to the camera being in the right place at the right time to get this kind of footage.
It is. I'd say half of my camera spots are there because I found a lion scrape. And then in turn, I started learning, as time went on, I'm like, oh, okay, that tree in the picture, like right there in this video, that beech tree right there is what the bears love to rub on. There's claw marks. They even bite chunks of the bark off. So a lot of my camera spots have like a, 2 for 1, 3 for 1 thing going on, where it's like a lion scrape site, a tree for the bears to rub on, and a rock for the bobcats to spray on or perch themselves on.
That's
I didn't know
fantastic.
this in the beginning at all. I had to learn as I go. I'm like, wow, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm learning.
Totally. Totally. And
Still,
so,
I'm never ending. It's learning forever. So,
totally. So to be clear about the lion scrape, is like that's a form of communication. Lions are scraping to mark territory, to communicate to each other.
mhm.
That
I've what I've seen mostly the males do it, and they'll make a pile of debris with their hind paws. Sometimes they'll urinate or leave scat on there, and then sometimes I'll see a male on my camera and I'll keep going through the canyon for the next 2 miles and I'll find about a dozen scrapes along the way. So sometimes they're very territorial and they want to really send a message, whether it's letting other lions know I'm here, it's my territory, or letting the females know, hey, I'm here, I'm available for a courtship. And I even captured a female, the mother of lions, Limpy. One time I captured her after her kittens dispersed. I started seeing her a lot on this one camera spot, more than usual. And then in one of the clips, she made a scrape, which I usually don't see females making the scrape, but she did, kind of letting the male know, like, hey, I'm here. So I noticed they both do it, mostly the males though. And the bobcats too. The bobcats also scrape, just like mountain lions.
totally. And so there's this kind of like perception that like the territorial scraping is only to keep other lions away, but sometimes it could be like, it's like a little calling card letting each
Oh,
other know
yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a 50-50 almost from what I've seen. I feel like it's
a
really a
little bit more.
combination of both. And then besides the scrapes, they do the screams. I thought only the females did the screaming and caterwauling, but I've actually captured a male doing the caterwauling too. While I think he was trying to find a female because I captured them. in the same camera spot, only a day apart. So I kind of seen both screaming for territorial purposes and for like trying to hook up with a mate.
Oh,
Things I'm
fantastic.
still learning as I go. I'm trying to like, still figure it out.
I also personally like there's so little sexual dimorphism between males and females that I think a lot of behavior that people say is only males or only females is mostly just because they can't really tell who's in which group a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree.
But that's so validating and so great to hear that, you kind of see females scraping, males caterwauling, like that it is behavior that crosses that line.
Yeah, and I always try to distinguish the males and females, and people do ask, like, how do you know from that one clip? Like, well, this line was on another camera before this, and you saw under the tail. You could just tell. You see the testicles or don't see them. And sometimes, even from a front shot, the males are so big, the muscle mass and their head is so huge, it's almost like, oh, that's a male for sure. And then you get the
Yeah.
confirmation by getting a glimpse under the tail. Every now and then I'll see a female, like a really mature female, who almost could be a male, and then you get that clip with under the tail, and you can get confirmation. So I
Right.
always try to like get that before I post something or like label it, male or female. In the beginning, I wasn't quite so good at that, but I tried to get better at that and be more accurate and give proper information. So,
Fantastic. And so we're gonna start to take some Q&A from our audience. We've had such an active chat and people really just chiming in, saying that they're really enjoying this conversation, and also people letting us know how their cats and dogs reacted to that clip of the caterwauling.
oh, right on. My animals don't react at all to that. Can you believe that? They don't even do anything. Other people's animals, I heard, like really react to it. So it's
Yeah. So
really
we've got
cool.
a question, and I think you touched on this in the talk, but I'm interested in your answer to this too. Have you ever felt like you've been in danger out there?
No, thank you for asking that. Honestly, the only danger to me is myself, whether it's tripping, stumbling, looking down at the ground for tracks and looking up and getting poked in the eye by a branch. I swear I am the biggest danger to myself is me. So no, the animals, I've never had that feeling. Even with all my bear encounters, I've had countless bear encounters from the largest males to moms with cubs. I've had all those experiences and you think those would be the scariest, the mom getting defensive, but no, they've all been surprisingly peaceful. The animals just want to get away from me. So I never have that fear. I really don't. Even when I found some deer kills, this happened about 3 times, where I found a partially eaten mule deer. I know a lion's going to return eventually. I'm there setting my camera. I'm crouched down. I'm bent over. My back's exposed. Getting my camera down. I still don't really feel that scared. Just knowing the lions don't want to mess with people. It's just not in their best interest. It's not what they're taught to do. It's not necessary.
Yeah, so there's been a couple of versions of the same question, um, which is, i- can you check these cameras remotely, or do you have to physically go out to them?
They do make cameras that you could have a cell phone, account, and it will send you a pic or video right away. I don't have that mostly because I don't want to pay for another cell phone account. I'm like, eh. And then I want to be out there. Like when I want to check my camera, I think I need to get out there, be out there in person, walking the canyon or the creek. Sometimes you come across things you never thought you would see in that time. So, and it's my exercise too. So I think it's important to be out there. They do make those kind of cameras, but I haven't really felt the need to get that. I like going out there in person, pulling out my laptop, putting in the SD card, sitting next to my camera and checking it right there, and then moving my camera accordingly or leaving it right there because, I'm on a good roll with this camera spot. So they do have those kind of cameras, but I don't have any myself.
Cool. So there's also several versions of this question. People wondering how many cameras do you have out? Um, how many cameras would you say you have active? And was that a large investment?
Oh, I lost track actually. I don't even know. I'm just kidding. Now, these days, I probably have, I don't have an accurate count to be honest with you, but I have over 20, under 30, somewhere in that range. I can't think off the top of my head how many I have out there right now. But yeah, over 20 and under 30. And it started off with just one, then I bought two. And of course, like I always want to get more. Like to me, there's never enough cameras because there's always like areas to be explored and studied. So it's never enough. It's never enough.
Yeah, that's great. So we have a question about Limpy. Uh,
Yes.
somebody who works with 8 mountain lions at a wildlife sanctuary. Thank you, Terry. How's Limpy? Is she still around? Do you see her?
Oh, I don't know. Okay. I get asked this a lot. I do. And I usually go, oh, I kind of cringe and go, oh, I don't know. So here's the thing. I first noticed her in 2013. So that's 11 years ago. And when I
Wow.
first saw her, I think she was already like an adult lion. She looked, very filled out, very muscular. And then what, 2 years later, I see her with some kittens. I seen her with 3 different litters of offspring. So the last time I saw her on camera was 2021, and she passed by my camera, but some of those spots that I saw her at, I don't have cameras at anymore. So I don't know if she's still going by those same exact areas, but doing the math and all that and the lifespan of a mountain lion, what's almost going on 12 years later, I don't know if she's still going to be around. I hate even saying that, and I usually don't post that on Facebook and tell people that. I'm like, I almost kind of want to like go, come on, do the math, figure it out. Don't make me have to like, spread the bad news. And yeah, I don't have
Right.
any confirmation at all. None. She could still be out there thriving and having more kittens, but I'm not sure like the exact lifespan of a wild mountain lion, but I don't.
We know that P22 was about 12 and he was
Yes.
pretty ancient.
And his life was so much different than Limpy's, so much more hectic and strenuous every day around LA and all that. And crowds. So maybe that could affect his lifespan too. If he wasn't, wasn't poisoned or hit by a car, any of that stuff, you never know. But in
Absolutely.
regards to Limpy, I don't know. Like I said, it's going on almost 12 years from when I first saw her. So I don't tell people because I'm afraid to even answer. I don't want to break anyone's heart, make anyone feel sad. I'm just hoping they'll kind of figure out, over time. It's like, I don't know. Is she out there? I don't know. My cameras are there. In some of the areas she's visited in the past, and in some I don't have cameras. So I don't really know 100%.
I
But I'm
think that that's
guessing she might have passed already. She might be out there. But
I
either
think
way, her
great
legacy, her
example.
story is such an amazing example of a lion thriving with an injury. Because when I
Totally
first saw her, people thought she was going to die. And like her days are numbered. I'm like, no. Years went on. I'm seeing her with kittens and she's feeding them. They're all healthy. So,
fantastic. And so we have a question from Sherry. If
yes.
someone would like to have one of your prints gracing the walls of their home, how would they be able to purchase one?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. You can go to robertmartinezphotography.com and I sell prints on paper and canvas there.
That's fantastic.
Asking. I appreciate
Uh,
that.
that is fantastic. So we have so many more questions coming in. A lot of them are about the specifics of, battery life, what specific kind of DSLR. Um, some of that, I think we're running out of time, but because
Oh,
so many
yeah.
so many of these questions are specifically about that, could you do like a 30-second version of battery life, type of camera, cost of camera?
Okay, the cameras I use, the Browning cameras, they run under $200, about 160 to 170 maybe. The battery life varies from spot to spot. Sometimes you get wind triggers or a piece of grass blowing in front of your sensor, so the batteries are dead, in 2 months. Other times they can last for 5 to 6 months. Depends on the activity and how many times your camera gets triggered. And I can't always predict that at every camera spot. My DSLR setup that my friend Dennis Calais built was a Canon camera with 2 Nikon flashes. It's all wireless and they're all synced together. And I think that's basically it. And I like using my Browning cameras so far. They're very reliable. The Browning Recon Force Elite HP5. It's got excellent picture quality and great audio.
Cool. So I think, okay, last question
Huh?
from Peggy. Um, how many mountain lions would you estimate live within the Angeles National Forest?
Oh man, that one I can never answer accurately because I don't have them collared or tagged. But I remember like sharing a post like 6 years ago where in like a 2 month span, I saw about 7 to 8 different lions. That includes a mom with her offspring. And something about each one stood out physically, so I could see the difference in their look, whether it's a nick on the ear or a scar on their cheek or something like that. So that was one example of like maybe 8 lions passing by a general area, like a 5 square mile area. But then some of those lions could be just transient lions passing right through, a young juvenile mountain lion trying to find his own space. You never know. But in the 12 years that I've been doing this, I feel like the lion population is healthy, even though I don't see as many as I want to see at different times, because you always get your hopes up, like, oh, there should be some lion footage on here. And there's not. I don't ever think like, oh, something's happening, something's bad, they're dying off, or someone's harming them. I don't think that at all. I just think they're going somewhere else, or they're passing by 20 feet around my camera on another little pathway. But I don't have a number, but I feel like where I'm setting up cameras and studying, it's a very healthy population of bears, lions, foxes, bobcats, everything.
That's wonderful. And it's wonderful that that exists so close to this major urban area. I think it's such a great testament to how coexistence is possible, even, in quite close quarters with people. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, everyone. This has been such a wonderful discussion. I could easily have this runtime double, especially the chat has been fantastic. People have had such great commentary and questions. I appreciate everyone so much for tuning into this Living with Lions webinar. We have members in all 50 states and around the world, and our work is funded by you, by individuals who care about mountain lions, their habitats, and the world we share with them. If you're not already supporting our work, you can become a member at mountainlion.org. On our website, you can also learn more about these amazing animals and find out how to be an advocate for mountain lions in your community. And if you would like to see more of Robert's work, we now have orders open for our 2025 Mountain Lion Foundation annual calendar, and that will feature one of your images. Um,
Yeah,
every donation of $35 plus will receive a calendar. So donate now, and the link is in the chat. So everybody feel free to jump on that right away because that's a really fun thing to get to have up in your home all year long. Um, Robert, thank you so much. Do you want to say real quick where people can follow your work, your social media?
yeah. So on Instagram, which seems to be the most popular these days, I go by the name Parliament of Owls, like my YouTube channel, but you have to use zeros because someone took the O's back then. So I have Parliament of Owls on Instagram and also on YouTube, Parliament of Owls, same name. On my Facebook, it's just Robert Martinez, it's my own personal account. I didn't know it would turn into such a public type thing. So yeah, I
Uh-huh.
have two accounts. I would say Instagram and Facebook are the ones I post the most on, or get the most, attention and web traffic. So
Well, we have thanks and appreciation. Thank you so much for this wonderful webinar. Pouring in on the chat. Um, really
here,
appreciate your time with us and also just your many years of work to gather all this fantastic footage. I definitely encourage everybody to find Parliament of Owls on Instagram and YouTube and keep checking this all out. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Um, hope to be more in touch soon. I would love to keep the conversation going.
definitely. It was an honor to be here. Thanks to everyone for showing up and supporting our mountain lions. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Totally. Thank you so much, Robert. Yeah, there's somebody who says that they're on your website right now, and it's great work. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
So, thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.